Nice job, my friends. Thank you for your flexibility. Edwin did not answer his message. So we are happy that you're here. All right, so the good news is to be on a co-host training, you need to be a co-host captain, or in this particular case, board member. Thank you, Ian, for being with us today. So we're going to talk about the follow-up piece of what happens when you have people attend your meeting. How do you follow up with them? Ian, I think you're the king of follow-up. What would you suggest?
You're talking after a meeting, one, reach out to them and say their first time or welcome them. Depending on the situation, organise a one-on-one if you want to, all that sort of stuff. That's
absolutely. As soon as you have 10 people on your call, your meeting's over. Now, what do you do with the people who showed up?
Me.
Uh-huh.
What do I do with the people? First of all, I acknowledge them in the posts, because we always put an image out to acknowledge that people have attended the meeting, both on the Facebook and LinkedIn wall, and also in the group as well.
So if that's the case, and do they respond instantly or not until the next week's meeting?
Which one are you talking about? When I send them a message privately or privately?
Once you send them a message, do they respond? Do they participate? Are they engaged?
Some are, some aren't. Some take a period of time because not everybody's on social media immediately. With Facebook and LinkedIn, sometimes that takes, depending on their, so there again, some people just like the post, some people comment. But we now have in our script, we say, we'd like you to not just like the post, but also comment, because that helps, like a posting party.
Absolutely.
More interaction.
Good for you. And so that's how you're getting such great numbers in Australia, I would imagine, right?
It's part of the picture. And I'm going to give a shout out to Emily's crew there. They're doing that sort of stuff as well.
Excellento. And Deborah, what about you? As soon as someone attends your Texas afternoon events, how do you follow up with everyone who showed up? Deborah?
Yeah, I'm here. Can you hear me?
Loud and clear.
Okay. Good. I usually thank them for coming and send them an invite to the next week.
Send them an invite to the next week. Okay, perfect. And do they respond back to you or just show up for next week's meeting?
Very often they just show up.
All right. Emily, what about you? You're doing so great in your Wisconsin meeting. How do you follow up with the people who actually attend your events?
Through like a LinkedIn message or a email, or just something with their contact info that they put in the chat.
Okay. And what does that do for them? Like as soon as they see the contact info and then you email them or connect with them on LinkedIn, how do you do that?
Rather than like thank them for coming to the meeting and then remind them about coming like the next week or another time in the future.
And that really does seem to get the engagement part happening. So I appreciate that right off the bat. Inga Faye, we're super glad that you're here. Tommy, Denise, of course, we're glad that you're with us. The flexibility piece, I appreciate you being able to get into the meetings. That's why I'm so glad that we have the Slack channel. Edwin was not able to answer his message for me to get everybody in the other ID number, which is his. So this is the mentors meeting number. So that's why I appreciate your flexibility. Tommy, what we're talking about today is Edwin wanted to talk about follow-up and engagement and to ask the co-hosts how they do that so they could share it with each other. As soon as you're on your California meeting, or actually any of the other meetings, but mostly California because that's where you're a co-host, as soon as you your meeting closes, how do you follow up with the people who actually attended your meeting?
Well, some of them, depending, right, is I'm looking for some of those who are new guests or those that are on phone. And then looking to see or ask them that, hey, if you're on phone, then I'll be happy to send the chat to them so that they have the connections to everybody. Because on phone, obviously, some people were saying, "Oh yeah, I just do screenshots," and then they go from there, and it's a little archaic, but it works. But I think it's a little easier if we can get a connection and just send the email to them. That's definitely one way to help out.
Does your whole team do the send it out email, or just each co-host separately, or how do you actually navigate that?
You mean all the contact information or the save
Yes,
chat?
yes, well, not the save chat necessarily, but if you're responding to the people who attended, thank you for attending, here's the this, here's the that, hope to see you next week. Do they engage back? Does your whole team do it, or just you?
Oh, right now I was kind of tasked by Steve to create a list of all the previous guests who've come, and then
Oh
I've
my
been
gosh.
it's a time, well, I mean, to maybe 6 months or so, right? Something like that. Not a lot of time, but so it's a limited number. And then, but now that we're combined with Southern Cal, I've been attending that one as well. So I'm looking at that like, okay, well, now I've got another list of saved chats that I can look for. So, but
Yes.
either way, there's a list that we have. I've shared it to the other co-hosts, and we've talked about it. I don't know if it's gotten out to if they've actually been able to send it out. So we're on a rotation kind of a basis. So we put all our names there. But now we have Stacy Kinoshita and Gabriella Waterman as well. So
Yes.
yeah.
Another great message here as well. Welcome, Greg. We're glad you could join us today. The good news is, honestly, when we did a lot of our combining, we're not finished yet, but when we did a lot of our combining, our goal is to not have overlap, and it's going to be impossible to eliminate it completely, but we're trying to lessen it. So we combine 4 of our meetings together, and we use the time slot of 8 a.m. Pacific time on Wednesdays. And so some of the co-hosts were unavailable at that particular time, depending upon time zone or prior commitments. So then we were able to shift, and that's always the important piece, because now, just for example, Sophia McMorris, she is now from Illinois, Indiana. She's now able to actually be a co-host for our Caribbean group. So it really is fantastic when we're able to stay in communication and shift some of the teams around. Well, now we've got California, Southern and Northern together. And Tommy, how long have you been a co-host for Northern California?
Maybe about a year and a half.
Okay.
Well, Northern California, because I was part of Central Cal first, and then that got moved into Northern Cal when I think Silicon Valley and Central Cal got combined.
Yes, and they merged, and I do remember Silicon Valley as well. And once again, the shifting piece, sometimes, of course, for numbers, but a lot of times for navigation on the website. So please keep an eye on that. Greg, what we're talking about today is Edwin, when we spoke with him earlier, he didn't get the number changed over so that I could get into the ID that's his, but I appreciate everyone being flexible on this ID number, and that's why I'm so happy to have Slack. What we're talking about today, Edwin was curious to know, and that's why I'm sure he's going to watch this recording actually, but I'm curious to know, what does follow-up look like after your meetings? So once your meeting is finished, you close the meeting out. Now you've got that fantastic chat. What do you do with the contacts of the people that were there? How do you connect with them, and how do you engage with them? Welcome, Anne. We're glad you're here as well. Greg, what do you think? You're a pro at navigation. How do you do this?
Well, I'm still working to be a pro. I'm still a novice. I'm a neophyte. Thank you. Just follow up. I mean, they say fortune is in the follow up.
Absolutely.
We just, Nick and I particularly remind everybody to say, bring a friend with you, bring one person with you, bring 2 people with you. And those that were there, I mean, that's a good question. You probably need to, follow up and re-invite those people to come back again. But it's just, being cognizant of who's showing up, who keeps coming back over and over again.
And some people, of course, as we look around our attendees, this person you can almost count on every single time they're going to be there. And then sometimes, it's a once a month kind of deal, depending upon your event space. And if we do have overlap. So the fortune is definitely in the follow-up. And that's why Edwin was very curious to know what the co-host teams are using to follow up with all the attendees, because some teams have regulars come back every time, and each of the regulars is invited for POGIG, We say that in our script every time, the power of a guest inviting a guest. And so POGIG is a very cool system. And so once your guest has attended, then obviously your guest would say, you know, who would be a great fit for this meeting? And they invite their friends. Now they can introduce them to the entire happy neighborhood. Deborah, yes.
I wanted to know, with the co-hosts following up, would it be a good idea if we all followed up with the person, or should we divide and conquer? You know, would that person feel more welcome if all four of us or three of us spoke to them or reached out to them? I'm trying to, or would that be too much?
Okay, perfect question. And I'm sure there are many answers to that, as there are folks on this call. Thank you, Lenora, for joining us, and certainly Ralph and Melinda. And I love that piece. But there really are probably as many answers to that as there are people on the call, because sometimes everybody says, let's do this together. And so they would send basically a mass email signed by everyone. Sometimes they would say, you take Tuesday, I'll take Wednesday, she takes Thursday, he takes Friday. And then every single day, perhaps the attendee gets a message. Thanks for joining us. It was great to meet you. Here's my calendar link. Let's have a one-on-one. All of those are specific to the teams. Greg, what do you think? How does your team handle that?
Well, okay, a follow-up question. Let me bring my hand down, get the hand down. Sorry.
It's okay.
See, it works. Okay. Anyway, well, no, just to kind of follow up. Before we would leave the room, I would say, ask the attendees, hey, who do you know now that you've been here again today, or your first time? Or we always ask people, hey, you know, is this your first time here? Have you been here? It's my first or second time. Asking, great. Who do you think would like to join us next week? You know, who do you think would like to, you know, join this community and help expand their business and help meet their you know, expand their contacts?
Is your particular event more consistent with regulars, or more consistent that you get new people and new people just keep coming and they only come once or twice? Which
Probably, I want to say a couple of regulars, but we do
Okay.
have some new people that are starting to come in. We still got to, you know, raise the numbers like everybody else.
Yeah, sure.
But I would say it's probably one or two regulars that keep coming by. But again, even those, you can say, listen, who do you know that would like to come down here? Because, you know, I want to say each group, obviously, we have our own little we're a little different and unique in our how we act. You know, we're fun, we're exciting, you know.
And you teach us how to talk Texan. I know that.
Exactly. So I think that's something to draw. I mean, Ian and company, they've been kind of leading the way here with the way they've changed things up the last couple of years and just having fun. I mean, him and his team are consistent and posting and all the little mechanisms, all the little bells and whistles that go around to promote from week to week. They're doing a very good job. So is there a lot of other groups too. But I think it's just that people want to keep coming back for the fun. You know, they were going to remember they had a good time. They've met somebody they're going to connect with. So they're going to keep going back. Hey, wait a minute. I had good luck there at that group. So it's just asking people, maybe ask people, hey, listen, before we leave here, Johnny, what did you like best about the meeting today? Mary, what did you like best?
That's fantastic. And the fun piece is so huge. We are the Happy Neighborhood Project for a reason, my friends, and it is about fun and fellowship for sure. Collaborating with other teams. Take a look at everything that's happening on LinkedIn right now. Several of our attendees, not necessarily co-hosts, captains, or mentors, have connected with each other, and they're now hosting events together. So please consider the collaboration piece. I heard about this and Susie invited me, so I attended. I absolutely loved it. Next thing you know, that person volunteers to be a co-host, and the rest, as they say, is history. So it really is a collaborative effort from many of the teams. Just so you know, Melinda, Lenora, and Ralph, and Anne, the question for today is, Edwin was with us earlier on a different call, and he wanted to actually know from the co-hosts, what is your technique or follow-up method? And the reason for that is people are going to want a Zoom one-on-one, like let's collaborate, let's have a chat, if you will. Then, of course, you have an opportunity during that one-on-one. I didn't get to know you very well during the meeting, but I'd love to have a Zoom chat later. And if they didn't join the co-op, this is your opportunity once again. And then, of course, if they are interested in Verified Happy Business Plan membership and or becoming a co-host, that's the best. And then Edwin threw in, guess what, my friends? They will probably consider doing business with you if you are the one who reached out. So those are some of the points that Edwin wanted us to have today when I was asking the co-hosts about how is your team following up with all the attendees, because we can definitely look at the numbers and certainly the recordings when we see people post the picture of your event on our LinkedIn question of the day. Wow. And tag all the people. The @ sign their name, click on it, and now you can tag them. Then they see that and go, this is the coolest group ever. They're tagging me and I just attended one time. And now they've already connected with us on LinkedIn and or Facebook and or any of the other social media platforms. So consider, if you will, once your event has ended, you have an opportunity to email. Thank you for joining us. Would you like to schedule a one-on-one if you have a calendar link, and then of course invite them back to your meeting? Then you have a chance to invite them to the co-op and or Verified Happy Business Plan member, and or if you'd like to become a co-host, we'd love to have you. This of course would be after perhaps 2 or 3 times attending to see if that would be a good fit for them. But then the biggest piece is that Edwin wanted us to know. People do business with people they know, like, and trust. How are they going to know, like, and trust you if they only attend one time? Nobody ever calls them back. I'm never going back there. Nobody reached out, whatever that looks like. And I'm sure in Fantastic Movie Lovers, you must have a system. What is it?
At the moment, we have not put together a system. So that's something that we definitely need to work on.
What do you do personally with those who have attended your meetings?
I have, to be honest, I haven't been as good now as I have in the past. It's something that I need to work on to be, but what I was doing and what I need to start doing again was reaching out to people over LinkedIn saying, hey, great to see you at the meeting. Do you want to do a one-on-one? So I feel embarrassed that I haven't been as good as I used to be, and I think I'm slacking on that. So this is a good reminder that I need to get back into.
Which is exactly the purpose of these, of course, the co-host trainings is the reminder to get the numbers back up, to get more co-hosts in the neighborhood. And again, more collaboration. And certainly people do business with people they know, like, and trust, and they have to see you a time or two before that happens. Anne has the unique advantage, if you will. Her mother, Joyce Foistel, actually attended several of the movie lovers. And so what was Joyce's response as far as who followed up with her, or more connections that she got on perhaps LinkedIn or Facebook?
You know, I'm not sure exactly. I know that you talked with her, Kathy. I think you follow up with her afterwards.
Great. Yeah, she's great.
And I don't remember who else, but I know at least one other person did.
And once again, it's just like if someone comes to your home for an event, party, a get together, whatever that looks like, probably you're not going to say the door's over there, see you later. It's probably not like that. You're going to walk them to the door. Thank you for coming. It was great to see you again. I can't wait till our next meeting or our next event or our next something. And it's just, we are the co-hosts of the Edwin Debry family. And so when you think about those kind of messages that people are getting, that's what's going to make them want to come back or not. And so what meetings are they going to come back to? The ones where they felt best, welcomed, happy, and certainly, as Greg mentioned, fun. Ralph, my friend, what is your follow-up method after someone has attended your meeting? What do you do to follow up with them? Do you just send them a Calendly link? Do you send them thank you for coming? Do you send them the here's next week's link? How do you follow up with the folks that attend your meetings?
I haven't been good at it. What I've been doing is looking at the post from the meetings and connecting with them and inviting them to a one-to-one that way. But need to do it on all the meetings, not just on 1 or 2.
Okay, that's a great point as well. And if you are like, let's say, for example, you have the optimal number, 4 co-hosts and a captain for your event. So you could say, Susie, this week is your follow-up time. Maybe you've got a copy paste email. Thank you for coming. We're so glad you're here. Here's my Calendly link. I'd love to do a Zoom call with you in the next couple days. What time works for you? Then the next week is Billy's time. And now Billy's the follow-up person. And there's a zillion different ways to do the system when you have a co-host team. And so the next week, it's somebody else's turn to do the follow-up. The next week, somebody else's turn. So by the time 3 or 4 weeks where rotation has happened, all of the co-host team has had a chance to do the follow-up, to do the re-inviting, to do the thank you for coming, to do the collaboration, to make sure they are in a co-op, to make sure they join the co-op. And please remember, on top of all of those things, we always talk about being able to be part of the co-op allows you to register for any of our meetings with one click. One click. And that's what we talk about at orientation. So guess what? We have a site in the co-op where you do not need a password. What? You don't need a password? Nope. Because every 15 days, you have to re-add your email, like it says add email. It sends you a link. You click on the link and it takes you back to the purple page. And people say my link is broken. No, it's not. The purple page is a reminder we don't have to have a password on this particular site, which is so huge. I need one more password to try and remember. So as soon as you see that purple page again, after you click the link on your email, all you have to do, my friends, is hit what? Refresh. These are some of the tricks and tips that we talk about at orientation. So when we say, don't forget to attend orientation class, you get 50 points for this, It's not for something to say in the script because we need more verbiage. It's to remind people and invite them personally. When you attend orientation, you get to network with the brand new folks that have absolutely never heard of HNP before, because we usually ask, have you networked with us before? What was your first home base location? Who invited you the first time? Who can we thank for inviting you? Usually we go that type of introduction. And so the rest of the story is now they see you again and go, oh my gosh, I remember. And so now it's an opportunity to teach some of the techniques that many of us who are regulars have actually learned. So remember, when they see the purple page again, your link is not broken, click refresh. Melinda, my dear Captain Melinda, I haven't seen you in a while. I hope you've been okay. It's only been an hour. But I would like to ask you, do you have follow-up methods for your teams, or how do you work it in your in all the groups that you manage for us?
I've left it up to the individual to follow up in their own way. I always follow up with the new people and say, hey, thank you for coming to X event. And I actually, call it what it is. We meet the same time, same place every week. Hope to see you again. Hope you had a great time. And I always send that out. And recently I've found that several people are not accepting it, and their excuse is, oh, I'm not on LinkedIn. So I'm going to start reminding them in the intro, hey, go check your LinkedIn, accept the thing, because that's how you find out about new things and new events coming up, or a change in format and all of that kind of stuff, and kind of make it seem more, fun, and they get to get the inside track. So I need to remind several people to do that.
That's a great idea and a good reminder for all of us. Most of the time, and of course, there's not just one social media platform that works best, or we wouldn't have as many choices as we do. So it's not just one. Where's your target market? My target market's only on TikTok. Okay, great. Where's your target market? My target market's only on Facebook. Okay, great. My target market's only on Instagram. All of that's fine. But what happens if you sprinkle a few profiles here and there around different social media platforms? So now you are basically everywhere, so people can find you. Plus, when you do a Google search on yourself, you're now able to see the different platforms that pop up most often, where people are looking for you when you've done the most activity. And then, of course, I would say it all has to do with algorithm. But if you are findable yourself, like you go to find you and you are findable, then your prospects and clients will find you as well. So LinkedIn is a great place to start. Most of us on HNP, that's the first place we go to connect. Then possibly Facebook, Pinterest, Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, other places like that. But usually most of us in HNP go there first. And that is evident by the fact that we've got almost 8,000 followers on our LinkedIn page. So thank you for that, Melinda. Diva, welcome. What is your fantastic method of follow-up? I bet you've got a good one.
You know what? I used to do way better with the follow-up.
Okay.
I've slacked a little with that. But this is a great reminder for why even us captains need to come to these trainings. We call them co-host trainings, but we're always going to learn something from each other. One of the things that I learned today in the few minutes that we've been here is the idea of each of us, including the captain, taking a day. That's 5 days a week. If you have 4 co-hosts and the captain, each of us will take a day to post, and we get more traffic that way.
Mhm.
The reason that I have not posted as often, when I have more events, it was just a lot to post every single event. I didn't want to bombard people. But now that you mentioned that idea, I think it's brilliant. I think it's something I'd love to implement with my teams, and see how that works out.
Fantastic. Well, and once again, my friends, we learn from each other. And that's why, first of all, Edwin offers the co-host trainings twice a month, second and third Mondays at this very same time. The difference for today was this was Edwin's ID number and I couldn't open it. So I went back to the one I could open. So again, I appreciate your flexibility. And that's why Slack is such a great tool that we can use in the neighborhood for quick communication. And Edwin will be gone a couple more weeks. He should be back the first week in August. And we're super duper excited to have him back in this country for sure. Now think about Lenora and Inga Faye, if you are available to chat, we are, we'd love to have you as well. Lenora, I saw that you unmuted. What is your best method for follow-up?
That is my worst method. And I don't
Okay.
really, I'm not consistent, but I always tell myself I will be. So after today, I'm kind of, I'm motivated to go out and follow up, because you know what, if I'm following up for HNP, then I'm following up also for myself. So
Isn't that the truth? That's a great point. I'm following up also for myself. That is a great point. Do you mostly do email or phone call, or how do they receive you when you do a follow-up?
phone,
Okay.
message,
Uh-huh.
yeah, anywhere, LinkedIn messaging. I think LinkedIn messaging, because I think most people that attend HNP are really consistent on HNP. So I notice that they really check their messages. So I think that's the fastest way for me to reach out to people, would be on LinkedIn messaging.
Okay. And that's a good point, because once again, everyone has their thing. Don't text me. I can't stand that. Don't call me. I can't stand that. Don't message me on Facebook. I can't stand that.
Right.
Everyone has their thing. And we have so many choices now, which is great, but you kind of have to know their preferred method for them to communicate back, and certainly the engagement. Do you do your West Coast women consistently, or do you split that up with your team?
No, I don't think any one of us are really consistent, except for Melinda.
Yeah, well,
She's really good at that. She's a really great example.
yes,
So
she's great.
I'm sure, you know, she sets the example for all the teams that she's captain for.
Absolutely. Don't talk about her when she can hear you. So that is very true. And once again, that is a great message as well. People learn by our example. If you're a co-host that's been around forever, the newbies are going to look at you and go, I don't know how to do this. Can you help me? What do I do next? Can you help me? And certainly the captains are hosting your events for you, with you, so that you can be more comfortable. And then you can learn how to do everything, which is the point. And then you're able to help the newbies as they pop in, because we always have a different team coming on. And especially, as I mentioned earlier, we've done so much shifting in the neighborhood to get bigger groups, different groups, demographic groups, geographic groups. And some of the co-hosts have been able to transfer to new teams. And that's always a blast. Yes, Diva.
Yeah, I was just going to say, again, just as Lenora and you mentioned about leading by example, is that oftentimes, I know that as a captain, we rely on the co-host always doing all the inviting, that it, again, this is a great reminder that we're all in this together and we're all working as a team.
And that is a great message. Teamwork makes the dream work. We talk about that a lot. And I don't think there's a better example of teamwork than Edwin Adebri and the business model that he uses for HNP. Inga Faye, I want to talk to you next, but let's think about this for a second, my friends, from a standpoint of genius. Here we have headquarters, which is Edwin and any of his actual paid staff. Then we have 3 mentors, volunteers. Then we have 17 captains, volunteers. Each captain has 3 or 4 teams they're responsible for. And each one of those teams has ideally 4 co-hosts, sometimes 3, sometimes fewer, which is why we always say we would love to have more co-hosts in the family. So please know that this business model is genius, and it seriously is. On Mondays, we have a meeting with Edwin. The mentors have a meeting with the captains. The captains then have this co-host training, which is amazing. But then during the week, you get to meet during the second breakout room, usually with your captain, to find out what's going on in headquarters. And so it trickles around the neighborhood in such a fantastic way that we can all stay caught up. And now the addition of all the newsletters that we get, some of the newsletters are posted on our LinkedIn section. Oh my gosh, once again, genius opportunity for communication. What's coming up this Friday? Speed networking with the VHPs. What's coming up August 18th? That's our revenue share meeting. All of the communication that we do in the scripting, and you don't have to read it verbatim, absolutely not. It's just there to help you stay on the 57-minute mark. We have to close at 56 because the next load of meetings starts at 57. That's just a have to. So your meeting really needs to end at 56. Sometimes we scoot to 57. Yikes if we scoot to 58, but the next a group of meetings starts at 57, ideally. So all of this strategy, once again, it's genius business model. And every time you see Edwin, in my opinion, he is to be applauded, because look at the system that he's put in place and how beautifully it actually works. Inga Faye, what is your method of follow-up with your team?
Yeah, I've in the past, I have gone through the messaging and actually looked and connected with folks on LinkedIn.
Okay.
I normally connect with people through the platform that they provide in the messaging. I figured that if they gave me that particular link, that's their happy place. So that's what, yeah, so that's where I connect with them.
Yeah.
So that's pretty much what I've done. I haven't done that in a couple of months, so I need to go back to that. And it's ironic, that was something that I had started redoing this month. So I'm glad that you brought that up again. I apologize. I don't know what's wrong with my camera.
Oh, please, I understand completely. As a matter of fact, when we were with Edwin earlier for another meeting that we were on, to get from Africa, literally the location where he is 4G. He couldn't get to a 5G location. So if he has got 3 people on a call, usually it stays on, but we had no sound. So he had to log off, log back on. I don't know what's going on with the bandwidth and all of those things. If he's got more than 3 or 4 people, it closes down the meeting. So once again, that's why we're here, and I appreciate your flexibility. But as not having a camera, not being able to see your picture, one of our captains actually popped in the meeting for that we had earlier, and it popped up user. So of course I've got my on guard ready to go, and my other co-hosts are on the other captains I made co-hosts for the meeting, because I figured that's just what we need now is a Zoom bomber, seriously. And it turned out to be one of our captains. His Zoom account made him a user. That was the name instead of his actual name. So once again, you never know what you're going to get with this Zoom technology every single time. And just like right now, we've got 2 Debbie Dubs. That's pretty fun. You can't get enough Debbie Dubs in the world, that's for sure. In a few seconds, my friends, we're going to actually take a picture. Edwin loves to have pictures of our co-host training, and certainly we can post that in Slack. But I'd also like to know where you are a co-host and how long you have been serving the community. Debbie Dub, our question for today, just so you know, is what is your method of follow-up with the folks who attend your meetings? Like once Midwest Ladies closes or HNP Girls Night closes, how do you follow up with the folks who attended? What is your method of follow-up? Debbie?
Well, I often send a dub video so that
Perfect. Look at that. Genius. Okay, keep going.
or even just, especially if there's new people, obviously I try to connect with them and just mention that we appreciate their taking the time to spend with us. So simple.
Now, on a scale of 1 to 10 for real, because I've been the recipient of your dub videos, when you hit reply, once you've gotten a dub video in your email from Debbie or any of our other dub friends, you can actually click the reply with video and you can do a dub video even if you're not on the dub system yet. How many of those have you ever gotten back?
Actually only a couple. So that's sad that people don't take advantage of that, but it is available.
Okay, and that's a perfect message as well. What a great selling point when you're talking to anybody about Dub. If you have a Dub account through our Happy Store in the back office of the Happy Co-op, click on Dub, and it's an affordable pricing, of course, thanks to Edwin being our first negotiator for our discounts, free or share members, doesn't matter. And now you have a chance to do a Dub video, and that's inserted into your email. Then when you get to hear Debbie, thank you for joining us today on Midwest Ladies or Girls Night or whatever team she's hosting. Click reply with video. Now you can speak right back to Debbie and say, I had such a great time. I won a prize. Thank you so much for having me. And that keeps that dialogue going. So please consider, how did you feel the first time you left a meeting? Just as I mentioned before, if someone came to your home or office and the meeting is finished, doors over there, see you later. Or thanks for coming, the door's over there. Or just nothing, meeting's over and everybody's supposed to file out by themselves. Most of us would never do that. You either walk them to the door, thanks for coming, I can't wait to see you again. Be sure to put your business card in the prize basket because we definitely want to chat with you again. And we're so excited that you came to visit us today in our office because we just opened it and this was a great welcoming. You see what I mean? It just kind of makes them feel better. The first time you left a meeting, did you feel like you really wanted to come back? Did someone invite you? What did that reach out piece look like? So again, my friends, thank you for joining us today on Edwin's co-host training. Some of the tips that he wanted to message to each of us. First of all, and I wrote him down so I would do his teaching verbatim. He loves the email piece so that you can actually follow up with a potential for a Zoom one-on-one to check out the collaboration pieces potential. And then certainly if you'd like to join the co-op, did you know it was free? The biggest asset for that, in my opinion, is you can now register for all of our meetings with one click instead of typing in all your stuff every time. An opportunity to share what is a VHB. You don't have to write anything down. VHB benefits are in your co-op back office. And certainly if you'd like to become a co-host and you're good at servant leadership, and what I would actually say on the call is, I can see that helping other people is a big thing for you. And our servant leaders are our co-hosts in our community. You might want to consider whatever team is a good fit for you, applying to be a co-host. And then of course, the biggest issue is people do business with people they know, like, and trust. And so if they do business with people they know, like, and trust, they're gonna have to get to know us. They're gonna have to learn how to trust us. And the more they see us, the better off that's going to be. So please consider that as well. All right, we're going to take a picture if everybody can come on. Oh, Ingefe, go ahead.
Did you say VHB as in boy?
VHB as in boy, yes. Verified Happy Business Plan Membership.
Okay, I just wanted to confirm what you were saying. Okay, got it.
Yes, VHB is Verified Happy Business Plan Membership, and all of the benefits and perks have now been combined from basic to premium. So we have one membership community now as far as $79 a month instead of two separate. So the perks and benefits really are huge for the VHB. So that's one more thing that you're able to share with the people. Did you know for a nominal fee, you're able to be part of this community in a give back kind of way? Thanking Edwin certainly for making this free for everyone. There's a few folks that choose to support him monetarily. So it's always a nice addition and certainly a way to collaborate so that you can find out if you would ever do business together. All right, let's take a picture and then we'll find out who's in the room and how long you've been a co-host and what location you are in. Ready, set, go, smile pretty, and boom. Wait a second. There we go. All right, fantastic. Deborah DeVat, you are first on my screen, my friend. How long have you been a co-host and where do you serve?
I don't know how long I've been a co-host. I think it's about 4, maybe 5 months.
Oh, wow.
And I co-host Texas Afternoon, 1 p.m. Central on a Wednesday.
1 p.m. Central on a Wednesday. Okay, be sure to put your information in the chat. This is an opportunity certainly for us to connect. Okay, obviously we're all co-hosts here, co-hosting this particular event, but put your info in the chat because we can't always get to know each other on our calls because we're working the room, so to speak. So this is a great time when we get to network with other servant leaders in our community to connect with each other on this type of basis. Tommy Tong, you are next on my screen. Where do you serve and how long have you been doing that?
Well, I now serve on the California HNP, which meets on Tuesdays at 11 Pacific and 2 p.m. Eastern. So that's been the NorCal one. Southern Cal has just joined us in the last few weeks. And so, but I've been serving on that, at least in the California, about 2 years or so. I started in Central Cal and that got combined with Silicon Valley, which got combined to California. So yeah, join me there on Tuesdays.
Fantastic. And once again, there's a lot of shifting going on. We are trying to prevent overlap. It's so hard once you've got 57 minutes available in your calendar and you have to go to our website and you get to see, and there's 3 meetings. I love her, I love him, I love her. And now the next thing you know, you've got to make a decision. And we're trying to avoid that. So when you see the shifting, pay attention to your co-op back office because that's the first place you'll see the new combined names of the teams or certainly the new meetings that are happening. Ralph Dana, you are next. Where do you serve and how long have you been a co-host?
Been a co-host about 9 months at South Florida every Tuesday morning at 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. And starting July 20th, a new recruiters co-host.
Fantastic. Recruiters Network is actually this coming Thursday at 3 o'clock Pacific. So please, please, please join us. I will give you a heads up. Your promotion is 60 seconds on the dot. We're going to set the timer when 60, you can talk about income opportunity. You can talk about recruiting efforts. Whatever you can't say in our current HNP breakout rooms, the sky's the limit. But when your 60 seconds is up, we must mute you because we're going to get 36 people, spin the wheel, 36 people. We're not going to breakout rooms. We're staying out all together so everyone can hear everyone's promotion. I'd like to work with you. I'd like to buy into your team. I'd like to this. I'd like to that. If we went into breakout rooms, that would not be possible. So we're all going to stay together. So the second your 60 seconds is up, boom, we have to mute you. So we're going to move on. Lenora is also one of our dynamic host recruiters for that particular team. So July 20th, 3 o'clock Pacific. I am super excited for all of you to join us. Whether you're recruiting or not, you just get to hear, first of all, the system. But second of all, Tommy, it's your turn. All you have to do is say pass. And that means you're not looking for anything. You're just looking there because one of your friends might need a JOB or a brick and mortar or certainly a team type business. So definitely join us. It's going to be a blast and definitely a different format for HNP. Once again, please applaud Edwin Adebri. We promoted it to him. We sent it to him as a request. What do you think about? Next thing you know, it's on the website. So please, again, Edwin is very forward thinking. Greg Bush, you're next on my screen. Where do you serve and how long have you been doing it?
Well, I'm a happy co-host here in Texas mornings, Tuesdays, 10 a.m. Central, 9 a.m. Mountain. As I always say, come on down, have some fun. Me and the crazy banana guy, my Lambda Chi fraternity brother, Nick Davis. Bring your boots, we'll teach you how to talk Texan. And I'm out in the West Texas town of El Paso. I fell in love with a nice Jersey girl. Yeah, so I actually have my 3-year anniversary as co-host of the now defunct West Texas this month. 3 years.
They now blended.
Well, blended, yeah, there you go, blended, thank you. But yeah, 3-year anniversary.
They now blended, yes, sir. Well, we're super happy and thank you again for your service to our community. And Guy, your hand is up.
Okay, I didn't know if you called my name while I was somebody.
Not yet, actually, but since you're unmuted, go ahead. Tell us where.
Yeah, my name is Inga Faison-Cavett. I've been co-hosting since October of 2022.
Wow.
I am the co-host for DMV. We meet on Tuesdays at 4 Eastern, 3 Central.
This time has flown. I remember actually your very first times at your event. That's exciting.
Yeah.
Next up on my screen, Ann Foistel's in the house with her dynamic movie theater. How long have you been serving our community and where is it?
Sure. I've been serving the community since February of this year. And I a co-host of Movie Lovers, which is Thursdays at 7 p.m. Eastern. We have a lot of fun. We talk about Ryan Reynolds. We do trivia, and we have quarterly prizes. So come on down.
And Tommy wins a lot too. So that's pretty fun to be able to see how our co-hosts co-mingle. I love that. All right, Debbie Dub, where do you serve this community?
Thank you, Kathy. I am a co-host for Midwest Ladies on Thursdays, Thursdays at 11 o'clock Central, 9 o'clock Pacific, whatever that is for the rest of you, sorry. And once a month, the second Thursday of each month, I help with the party for Girls Night Out.
Absolutely. And think about that too. We have party hosts for HNP Girls Night. That way it does not interfere with you serving the community in whatever group you're in. And that's why we have host recruiters for HNP Recruiters Network, because it's only once a month. That way you can still serve the community in your original location. So thank you for doing that, Deb. Next up on my screen, Emily Gomer. Where are you a co-host and how long have you been serving?
2 years at HNP Wisconsin, Minnesota, Tuesdays at 1 Central.
Wow, 2 years. I'm telling you what, we've got a lot of great anniversaries coming up this year.
Or 2.5 years. No, it's like more like 2.5 years. Yeah.
Nice. That is super fun. I love that. Well, thank you for joining us on almost every meeting we have. So this is great. Melinda, how long have you been from attendee to co-host to captain? How long has that been a system?
It's coming up on 2 years.
Woo!
Yeah.
Your very first HNP event?
Yeah. Oh, it's been about 2.5 years from being an attendee then.
Okay. And where were you attendee the first time?
Oh, I don't remember where I went the first time.
All right.
It was maybe Washington.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
So tell us the communities that you serve now.
So I co-host West Coast Women along with Lenora on Wednesdays at 2 p.m. Pacific. And then I captain for South Florida with Ralph on Tuesday mornings, as well as Hawaii and Speed Networking, which is this Wednesday. We hope to see you. Ian and I co-host that event. We have a lot of fun. We do some dancing and grooving, and hope to see you there.
That's awesome. Thank you so much. Lenora, your name has come up several times. You're next on my screen. Where do you serve? You've been doing it.
I'm not quite sure how long I've been co-hosting. I want to say 17 months, maybe.
Oh, wow.
Let's see, what else? Oh, I co-host for West Coast Women on Wednesdays at 2 p.m. with Melinda, and with Ralph, our new one, right? Thursdays, Recruiters Network at 3 p.m. Super excited.
I'm super excited too. Thank you again for saying yes all the time. This is so great. Next, Deputy Chairman of the Board of Directors for the Happy Co-op is in the house, our favorite friend from Down Under. Ian, where do you serve and how many groups are you helping with now, my friend?
Happy Tuesday. Started on December 8th, 2020, co-host a week later. Look After Australia at lunchtime today, which is in 2 hours time, 7 p.m. Pacific tomorrow morning, 2 p.m. Pacific, Speed Networking Wednesday, 3 p.m. Pacific with Hoffy, as we call her, or I call her, Melinda. Have a lot of fun, as she said earlier. And I seem to be also a co-host with HNP Rocks the Night with Denise, and quite often on Nevada and also Washington.
Wow.
Just to fill in my day.
You do get around, that's for sure. Thank you again for your service in our community. Next up, our favorite diva in the whole world is here. Denise Farkas, what's going on? Where do you serve this community and how long have you been part of the Happy Neighborhood Project?
So I've been on HNP since it was either February or March of 2020. My very first event was the International Day of Happiness. Fell in love with the HNP vision and mission and Edwin and everything that he stood for. I was like, yep, this is my new home. I'm moving into the neighborhood. And I've been there ever since. I quickly became a VHB, then a co-host, then a captain, and it's just all so much fun here. But if you really want to know more about what I do and where I captain, why don't you come and join us next on the posting party, where you're gonna learn awesome tips about all good things on LinkedIn that we can do to get noticed. So Kathy's gonna be teaching us some tricks and trades.
Absolutely true. It starts in 2.5 minutes, as a matter of fact. So we do need to say farewell here. Thank you again for your flexibility. When Edwin gets back the first week in September, please don't say September, the first week in August, we will be super duper happy to get things back to normal. But we appreciate your flexibility, and keep an eye on the Slack channel. That really is how we can communicate with everyone the quickest, which also means that's how you can communicate with us. If you need help in a meeting, opening a meeting, somebody's there that shouldn't be, et cetera, et cetera. So thank you again for joining us. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for your service to this community, because it's a blast to get to see so many of you in the happy neighborhood each and every week. See you in a few minutes at the posting party. Have fun. Stay happy. Save the chat.
Adios,
Bye,
amigos.
everybody. Have a good day.
Stay happy, everybody.
Bye, have a great week.
Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Thank you, Kathy.
Absolutely. Bye-bye now.